Good evening. Inside a Toronto courtroom today, sex assault allegations dating back decades were put under the microscope.
The defense lawyer for billionaire businessman Frank Stronach focused the cross-examination on memory, timelines, and credibility. CTV's Allison Hurst has been at the courthouse all day and joins us live now with more. And Allison, some of the details are disturbing.
Nathan, yes, some of the details certainly are disturbing for our viewers. Best to let them know ahead of time. And this was all cross-examination today. The defense lawyer trying to point out any inconsistencies from this first complainant of 7 in this case between her testimony she's given to the court and previous statements. Day 2 of cross-examination took place inside a courtroom of a former employee accusing billionaire Frank Stronach of sexual assault. She can't be identified, but she's the first of 7 complainants in this case. The 93-year-old is facing a dozen charges that allegedly occurred between 1977 and 1990. The woman testified she had her birthday party at Stronach's downtown restaurant Rooney's and claims the auto industry tycoon assaulted her on the dance floor, in a booth, and later in a bed. She also told the court she has blackouts from that night and remembers only flashes, such as him accosting me on the dance floor, sliding me into that booth and still accosting me, and ending up in that bed and seeing his face. During her cross, defense lawyer Leora Shemesh called her a storyteller, pointing out inconsistencies over the years. She suggested, "You have told a story in this courtroom and you continue to tell a story to various media outlets for public consumption and to this court." The complainant said, "I know what he did to me. That's the important part." Shemesh asked why the woman had made previous statements claiming the alleged assault happened in 1980, not 1981, and pointed out that in 1980, Mr. Stronach was not here. The complainant told the court she's 90% sure it was 1981 and not 1980. The defense showed her past social media posts from her account, one alleging she was raped by Stronach in 1982. You agree that says 1982? Yes. Other posts, Shemesh says, shows her distaste for the rich. The judge-alone trial is expecting to hear from the 6 other complainants in this case. Frank Stronach has pleaded not guilty to all 12 charges. The trial continues on Tuesday. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. The province and makers of Crown Royal have reached an agreement diffusing tensions that threaten to see the whiskey removed from LCBO shelves. The standoff started in August when Diageo said it would be closing its bottling plant in Amherstburg, south of Windsor, laying off 200 people and moving the jobs to the U.S. The company pledged that Crown Royal would still be mashed, distilled, and aged at its Canadian facilities. But Premier Doug Ford denounced it, and poured out a bottle of whiskey in the protest back in September, saying Crown Royal would be off the LCBO shelves once the plant closes this month. Fast forward to today, and the province confirms Diageo's products aren't going anywhere, with the company now pledging new investments in Ontario.
Well, I think it's positive for the consumers who obviously love Crown Royal and the brand. It's positive for our neighbors in Manitoba and Quebec who are part of that chain, and it's positive for the investments that they're making, the $23 million, which otherwise, if Doug Ford, the Premier, did not fight for those jobs, we wouldn't be seeing this $23 million investment today.
They were going to take them off last year, but now they're keeping them on.
Which is good, because I like Crown Royal.
People should buy Canadian stuff, not Americans. You shouldn't buy American stuff.
I think it's the best thing to keep it here. It's our country, and it's supposed to keep our stuff in our country.
Diageo says nearly half of the $23 million figure will go towards purchasing spirits from an Ontario provider. It will also invest in a new line of ready-to-drink canned beverages delivered through a Toronto-based company. Now, a combined $1 million will go towards supporting community supports in Amherstburg. The Ontario NDP said it's difficult to applaud the announcement when the community remains devastated by the impending plant closure.
Stellantis has offered workers from its shuttered Brampton plant first choice of new shifts in Windsor.
However, it's unclear how many people will actually be making the move. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has the details.
It's big smiles and thumbs up in one Ontario auto city, a third shift returning to Windsor's Stellantis plant starting Tuesday. 1,700 workers dedicated to the Charger and Dodge Caravan. But 350 kilometers away, there's no sign of thaw at the Stellantis plant in Brampton. 3,000 workers here have been laid off for 2 years now. Just over 200 of them have moved, found jobs on that third shift in Windsor.
This is Stellantis putting lipstick on a pig. They still have a duty and an obligation to Canadian taxpayers.
The Brampton plant had been down supposedly for retooling. Then in the fall, under the cloud of U.S. tariffs, the company moved production of the Jeep Compass to Illinois. Speaking with BNN Bloomberg this week, the head of Stellantis Canada insists the company isn't abandoning the city.
We want to build cars in Brampton. We've been in Canada for 100 years. We've been making cars in Canada for 100 years, and we want to continue making cars in Canada for the next 100.
The mayor says that doesn't line up with the position the automaker has taken in his conversations.
As long as tariffs exist on the auto sector in Canada, there is not a business case for auto jobs in Canada. And so they continue to be bullied. Until I see Stellantis with some backbone, I'm not going to be encouraged by these PR exercises.
Stellantis says it's still considering options for Brampton.
The more that vehicle that we eventually put there meets the needs of Canadians and meets the needs of export markets for us here and gets to the volume standards there, we can bring costs down.
Barring a new line, the federal government is trying to recoup hundreds of millions of dollars in subsidies it's given the company, with the understanding jobs would be maintained. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Halton police are sharing new surveillance video as they investigate Monday night's deadly shooting at Burlington Center Mall. Witnesses reported gunshots ringing out at the mall at around 10 Monday night. A man inside this white car was found shot and later pronounced dead in hospital. Now, he's been identified as 24-year-old Omar Nayaz Mohammed. Social media posts said he was a local rap artist from Hamilton. Police had been searching for a white SUV seen in this newly released video. It was later found set on fire in Hamilton. They're now looking for any information on the dark SUV in the video, and they're asking anyone who can identify it to get in touch.
We're learning more about an incident this morning in Bowmanville that prompted a hold and secure at nearby schools. Officers responded around 6:50 a.m. to a home near Liberty Street North and Carlisle Avenue, where a man allegedly stabbed another man, causing serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Durham police say they arrested and charged a 28-year-old suspect from Clarington, and Bowmanville High School and Duke of Cambridge Public School were briefly placed in a hold and secure as a precaution. Police say the incident was not related to either school, and there are no concerns about public safety.
2 suspects were in custody following a string of commercial break-ins in Mississauga. Peel Regional Police dubbed their investigation Project Toretto. Between November and January, more than 35 businesses reported break-and-enters. Then on Tuesday, police executed search warrants at 3 homes and on a vehicle. They recovered more than $50,000 in stolen property. 2 young people are in custody, while a third is still on the loose. Police say they'll face a combined 190 charges. And 1 person was taken to hospital following reports of a chemical hazard in Etobicoke. Police received the call shortly before 2 in the afternoon. They responded to reports of a chemical hazard inside a commercial building in the area. The building was evacuated and 2 people were treated at the scene. 1 was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The cause remains under investigation.
The Toronto Zoo says it received the final post-mortem report after the death of a giraffe in its care on New Year's Day. The zoo had previously revealed that 13-year-old Maasai giraffe, Kiko, died from injuries linked to the unique anatomy of his species after he got caught in an opening door. The report from the Ontario Veterinary College says that Kiko died almost immediately, not because of any injuries or underlying conditions, but from cardiac failure linked to intense exertion while he tried to free himself. The zoo says it's launching internal and external reviews to prevent similar incidents in the future.
Toronto police say they're preparing for a massive demonstration in North York tomorrow in support of anti-government protesters in Iran. Toronto is one of several cities around the globe where organizers have planned a global day of action for Iran. It will start with a march down Yonge Street from Steeles to Mel Lastman Square. Police say parking restrictions, transit detours, and street closures will be in effect for much of the day, including a closure of Yonge from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the area. They say attendance may exceed 200,000 people.
We're just advising the public that they can expect to see a significant police presence in the area to keep everyone safe, manage traffic, and help keep the city moving. And we're letting people know that there's going to be road closures and parking restrictions, and just letting people know if you're in the area to plan ahead and expect delays.
A note for commuters this weekend, there will be an early closure on a stretch of the TTC's Line 2. Trains will stop running between Broadview and Woodbine stations at 11:59 p.m. on Saturday. Crews will be doing track work. Shuttle buses will be running, and TTC staff will be available to assist customers. Regular service is scheduled to resume on Sunday around 8 a.m.
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and Torontonians are out and about making sure they're prepared.
Flower shops are doing big business as people get gifts for that someone special in their lives. Our Beth McDonnell joins us live from Flower Centre on Kingston Road with more. Must be bustling there, Beth.
Yes, the energy is wonderful, and I'm meeting people telling me about the special people in their lives who are going to receive these flowers. What better way to say I love you than with a fresh bouquet of flowers? And it has been busy, but I'm told the real rush will be tomorrow morning. People are busy picking up fresh bouquets of flowers on Avenue Road for Valentine's Day.
Just hanging out with the girlfriends. Yeah. Do you like the flowers?
They're very pretty.
I know. There's so many people inside buying flowers right now.
For friends and for lovers.
I went out for dinner with my missus, but yeah, I get to spoil her a little bit. She deserves it.
Even for themselves.
Whenever I come to Toronto, I stop by at Yang's Flowers to buy most gorgeous flowers, the best owners, and always support small business.
Amazing. Do you are these flowers for anybody in particular?
For me.
Mother's Day, funny enough, for florists is actually busier, but the biggest concentration and stress is actually for Valentine's Day itself.
This florist in Roncesvalles says when choosing flowers, think of the person receiving them.
A dozen red roses. That is such an old cliche. We tell people all the time that you should order flowers based off of what your partner enjoys, their favorite colors, their styling.
Parks and Rec in Mississauga is offering free photos with your dog. Just bring their vaccination record and they'll be good to go for a snazzy image and happy memory to take home.
Just like you're seeing here now, these dogs are pretty well trained. 3 of them are mine, and Mr. Romy here has been coming for forever, so they know pretty well when they see the backdrop and the set that it's lights, camera, action.
But before the fun and relaxation begins, the rush is on.
I'm a florist, so orders keep coming in, and this is an amazing spot to grab some last-minute things.
Who for exactly?
My partner.
Your partner?
Yeah.
Yeah, you looking forward to tomorrow? You got any plans?
Probably just dinner. I've messed up so many big anniversaries. I gotta make up for it somehow.
The wife.
And what are you doing tomorrow?
Dinner. That's
Looking forward to it?
Absolutely.
Who do I throw back to? And here at Flower Centre, people are coming by. The florist tells me that red roses are the most popular thing by far, but what's most important is to give flowers that come from the heart. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
I love that. Thank you, Beth. Well, the Lunar New Year is set to arrive on Tuesday, and celebrations will be held in the city over the weekend. Mayor Olivia Chow offered her thoughts on welcoming the Year of the Horse.
Horse is strong, speedy, get to the goal and delivers. Okay, that's what horse does. I'm a year of the rooster. Okay. You can tell I talk quite a bit, which is why my voice have trouble. It arouses people, so go and get it kind of mentality. So, which brings me to the budget. You talked about the budget.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is really about delivering very fast in the Year of the Horse, more affordability for residents of Toronto.
Time for a check on the forecast. Here's a live look at Nathan Phillips Square, where fireworks will be set over the weekend as part of Lunar New Year festivities. Of course, you can skate as well. Those heading out to take in the celebrations will enjoy a slight warm-up. Good news. Lindsay Morrison has a look at the current conditions. Lindsay.
Yeah, overall, Nathan, it's looking like a pretty mild family day long weekend. That's great news, especially those daytime highs. But the overnight lows are going to be above seasonal, too. Tonight is the coolest part of the weekend and perhaps also the most active. We've got a little burst of snow moving across southern Ontario right now. Not going to amount to a whole lot as far as accumulation is concerned, maybe a trace to a centimeter or for 2. However, Environment Canada issuing a couple of weather advisories warning of blowing snow and also the risk of some freezing drizzle, which will continue through the overnight hours tonight. We've got southerly and southwesterly winds, not overly strong, a little breezy around Hamilton and Niagara especially. It's -1 degree this hour at Pearson Airport, feeling more like -5, and our temperature drops to -5 degrees overnight tonight. But then it gets milder from here. We'll take you through that long weekend forecast coming up a little later in the show. For now, Michelle, I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. The RCMP provided an update today on Tuesday's mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, BC, including a number of new details about the tragedy.
Our officers arrived on scene, immediately went into the school. As you can imagine, it was chaotic. The fire alarms were going off. There was somebody that either leaned out or shouted out a window to our officers. The suspect is upstairs. He's upstairs. They entered the school, immediately went to the stairwell, proceeded to go up the stairwell, and were met with gunfire.
Hey. For more now, we're joined live by CTV's Andrew Johnson in Tumbler Ridge. Andrew, what else did the RCMP reveal today?
Michelle, it was a disturbing update. We've learned not necessarily the killer's motive in this situation, but maybe speaking to Jessie Van Rootselaar's mindset after killing her mother and stepbrother at their home, then heading to the secondary school. And we asked police, does it look like specific people were being targeted? People perhaps Van Rootselaar knew had some kind of an issue with. And they said no, for lack of a better term, this person appears to have been hunting. So in this case, hunting 12 and 13-year-olds, a teacher, who were all killed. And as you heard there from police, they arrived shortly after, were directed upstairs, encountered gunfire, and they tell us within seconds of their arrival, the shooter took her own life and said that response time may have been absolutely critical because the shooting appeared to have been, it would have continued until they arrived. That's what stopped things. 4 weapons were involved in the 2 killing locations. We didn't know that before. And autopsies on the victims as young as 11 years old are expected to be complete by the end of this weekend.
Andrew, the Prime Minister, meanwhile, the Governor General and other leaders are attending a vigil tonight. What can you tell us about the plans to honor the victims?
Well, ahead of the vigil, all of the federal leaders already laid flowers at a memorial here in Tumbler Ridge, about 100 meters from the school. Quite a show of unity. Prime Minister Mark Carney, official opposition leader Pierre Poilievre walking down the center of the street together, the leaders gathering at the memorial and then speaking to people from town afterward who seem to appreciate their presence. And then there'll be that vigil coming up tonight, attended by hundreds, when the Prime Minister, the Premier and others are expected to speak. And people have told us, despite the fact this is a small, tight-knit town, not used to attention, and they've already, in their grieving process, had to also deal with the media here and so much attention, they do appreciate the presence of these federal leaders, which is really a visual representation of how much Canadians have come together for this town. And it should be a pretty powerful event this evening.
No doubt, incredibly emotional for sure. CTV's Andrew Johnson, live for us in Tumbler Ridge. Appreciate it.
The small community of Tumbler Ridge is deeply shaken by the events of this week, and the effects of this tragedy will last long after the politicians have gone.
In a place where everyone has ties to everyone else, healing will involve every person who calls Tumbler Ridge home. CTV's Kathy Lee has been speaking to members of the community.
Despite the devastation, there is compassion and care from everyone I've spoken to. It's a testament to how close everyone is in Tumbler Ridge.
Amber Bell's love language is cooking. In the depths of profound grief, she is still making sure her community is fed.
My daughter and my husband and I went around to every single house last night and brought food.
The nourishment for those navigating a nightmare after 8 people, mostly children, were shot at the secondary school and this home in Tumbler Ridge. Bell's 2 children were in class at that time. They are safe, but her heart aches for the young ones that didn't make it out, all of whom she knew personally.
They were all so amazing in their own right, but for us personally, the loss of Kylie is devastating. She was a part of our family too. We've known her whole life.
But even in her despair, the mother is buoyed by the support.
I feel the support. I can feel the love of the country, community.
In a community where everyone knows each other by name, the love is felt at every corner.
I've only been here 5 years, and I haven't lost that, but you know what? They're my kids too. They're my kids too.
This town has been through other difficult times, like a wildfire in the past, and they say they were resilient and overcame that, and will do the same this time by leaning on one another, as they always do. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Tumbler Ridge, BC.
In other news, the federal Liberals have been pushed further away from forming a majority government. They now need 4 seats after losing one today when the Supreme Court invalidated a result from April's general election. The court nullified the Liberal candidate's 1-vote victory in the Terrebonne riding near Montreal. The Bloc Québécois candidate had challenged the election results after one of her supporters said she had tried to vote by mail using a special ballot, but the voter says it was never counted because it was returned to her, and that was due to a mistake in the postal code on a label supplied by Elections Canada. The judge called it a routine clerical error. The seat is now vacant and a by-election will be required.
A new report suggests Canada will not meet its commitments to fight climate change. The Canadian Climate Institute indicates the country has lost its way in meeting its goals, including the 2026 interim emissions reduction target. The report says the long-term goal of reaching net zero emissions by 2050 may now be out of reach. It notes Ontario has repealed its climate accountability legislation, and both Alberta and Saskatchewan have weakened and suspended their industrial carbon prices.
The United States is sending a second aircraft carrier strike group to the Middle East. The USS Gerald R. Ford is the largest aircraft carrier in the world. Its deployment is seen as putting more firepower behind Donald Trump's efforts to coerce Iran into a deal over its nuclear program. The U.S. president said this week failure to reach an agreement would be very traumatic for Iran. Arab nations have warned that any American attack could spiral into another regional conflict.
A new crew is rocketing toward the International Space Station tonight.
Liftoff. Go Falcon, go Dragon, and Godspeed Crew 12.
The 4 astronauts lifted off from Cape Canaveral on an 8 to 9 month mission. They're replacing a crew that returned to Earth early because of a medical issue with one of the astronauts. SpaceX launched the replacements as soon as possible at NASA's request. The new crew is scheduled to arrive at the orbiting lab tomorrow.
Coming up, a home away from home in the heart of Milan. We pay a visit to the hub for Team Canada's ice sports during these winter games, plus all the highlights from our athletes in action today.
Well, historically, we've had some pretty chilly Valentine's days here in the city of Toronto, but date night's looking pretty comfortable tomorrow here in the city. Temperatures just below freezing for your Saturday evening. Ski conditions looking great for this weekend. I know many families will be looking for things to do this weekend, and I think the weather for the most part is going to cooperate. Some pretty mild temperatures. Check out Monday, possible daytime high of 6 degrees, and that mild weather spills over through next week as well. We'll talk about the possibility of some rain through the middle of next week. That's coming up here on CTV News, and stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
It was another good day for Canada at the Milano Cortina Olympics. Our men's hockey team improved to 2-0 with a 5-1 win over Switzerland.
The Canadians have now clinched Group A ahead of Sunday's preliminary finale against France. With a look at how the rest of our athletes did today, here's CTV's Scott Hurst.
Courtney Sareau proudly displays both her medals from Milano Cortina.
I feel so grateful. It feels unbelievable.
The 25-year-old from Moncton, New Brunswick, is Canada's first double medalist at these Olympic Games. She won silver earlier in the week alongside her teammates in the mixed relay event and bronze in the women's short track 500-meter.
I didn't want to leave the ice with any regrets, so I just went for it and gave everything, and it got me some extra bling.
And she has a shot at even more medals to come in the Olympic competition. Staying on the ice, a busy day for the men's curling team led by Brad Jacobs. They are the oldest group in the men's curling competition and used every bit of age and experience in a 6-3 win over the Americans, who are the youngest squad in the competition. Team Canada also beat Sweden today. The Canadian rink is now 3-0. On the women's side, a stunning upset for the top-ranked Canadians. Rachel Homan's squad lost to the Americans 9-8. With the loss, Team Canada is now 1-1 in the preliminary round. Their next game is tomorrow against Great Britain. Mark McMorris has been cleared for competition after a nasty crash that kept him out of the Big Air event last weekend. The three-time defending Olympic bronze medalist in men's snowboard slopestyle will now get a chance at another podium. Slopestyle qualification begins on Monday. The women's hockey team is back in action on Saturday, now into the knockout round. The reigning Olympic champions will play Germany in the quarterfinals. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
And there's some possible good news going into that women's hockey quarterfinal tomorrow. Marie-Philippe Poulin might play after suffering a lower body injury while being checked during a game earlier in the tournament. The Canadian captain returned to practice today after missing the final two preliminary round games. She skated on her own yesterday. Meanwhile, there's a unique gathering place for Canadian athletes and their families at the Winter Games.
CTV's Heather Butts takes us to the Canadian Ice Palazzo in Milan.
In the heart of Milan is a place that feels like home for Canadians. The Hockey Canada Ice Palazzo is a community hub for Team Canada hockey players, speed skaters, figure skaters, and their families.
All in one venue. So we don't do things together very often. And it's great to be able to work with the other sports, and that's one of the beauty things of the Olympics. It really does provide those opportunities to do things together.
The red carpet entranceway, complete with Italian mosaics shaped with a maple leaf design, celebrates Olympic champions in all ice sports.
It's really honoring people spanning several decades, actually, here.
Absolutely.
Traditionally, the Canadian Olympic Committee puts up a Canada House, but faced challenges with the games so widespread. With Milan hosting hockey, speed skating, and figure skating, those organizations saw this as a natural fit.
This is our theater room. Come on in, Heather. We put the director's chairs at the front for people to be able to sit in the director's chairs and watch the event. And then really tried to decorate the walls again to celebrate historic Canadian champions.
Every detail and activity has been carefully thought out to promote fun and family engagement, right down to the hockey helmets.
Walk outside and there's an expansive courtyard complete with a skating rink. Rory, the son of hockey player Natalie Spooner, skating his heart out all afternoon.
Obviously, we want to win gold, but at the same time, I think our families have had a huge impact on us and making sure that we get here. So in a sense, this is also a space for them to be able to enjoy the Olympics.
A space for families to unite.
How's it going, buddy?
Like hockey player Bo Horvat's parents.
It still kind of seems surreal, actually. We're just thrilled that he made the team.
It's been great. You get to meet a lot of the other families, the parents, their friends, their families. And they all, just like the team, they all gel together and everybody's having a really good time.
We're being followed by the next Canadian superstar here. He's ready to roll.
Here, kids can play while the athletes live the Olympic dream.
I would call it an investment in Canadians. So as we looked at it from a Hockey Canada perspective, we said, how do we invest in sport and make families feel they're part of something?
Heather Butts, CTV News, Milan.
Well, here in Toronto, we're heading into a long weekend, and there are really some nice conditions to look forward to. But tonight, we got a special weather statement.
Yeah, there is some concerns about blowing snow in some areas, but at least overall, the weekend, we can look forward to it.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say that this is the most active part of the weekend, your Friday evening. A little bit of light snow expected around the GTA. It's not too bad out there right now, but just be mindful. Perhaps you have some travel plans this weekend, too. Roads could be impacted through the evening hours tonight and maybe into the overnight, too. But after that, things are looking pretty mild and pretty calm. Here's a live look outside right now. Again, pretty pleasant. Roads don't look bad at all in many areas. But as we take a look at the satellite and radar, you are going to notice that we do have some snow pushing southward toward us here in the GTA. Here's what it looks like on radar. We'll keep an eye out for flakes flying into the nighttime hours tonight, but this isn't amounting to a whole lot. This is a quick passing system that will be gone by the time we reach the overnight hours tonight. The risk of some light freezing drizzle is going to continue through the overnight hours, and then after that, pretty calm and quiet. We're anticipating in some areas maybe a dusting to a centimeter of snow, maybe 2 in some areas. So there's around 7 p.m., but look how quickly this departs. Your Saturday is going to be quiet, mix of sun and cloud, perhaps more cloud than sun through a good portion of the weekend. We're watching this little line of flurries, again, not expected to impact us here in Toronto, and there is a system stateside that looks to remain south of the border. So overall conditions are quiet for your long weekend, and temperature-wise, things are looking pretty good as well. It's -1 degree this hour at Pearson. It's -5 in Ottawa, -3 degrees in Wyerton, and +1 in the Windsor area. So that mild air is starting to push in from the west. We're going to notice it more so day side tomorrow, but overnight tonight we drop to a low near -5 degrees, and it is likely to feel more like -11 as you're waking up tomorrow morning. Don't forget, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Conditions look pretty good, mainly cloudy skies, a high of 3. That's nice and pleasant for maybe spending some time outdoors with your sweetheart. And temperatures are going to be above freezing and above seasonal in most places right through tomorrow afternoon. And this isn't even as warm as it gets. Sunday is going to be similar temperature-wise, but let's talk about Monday. So first Sunday, varying amounts of sun and cloud. Once again, some areas will be mostly cloudy through the day. Monday, hopefully a little more in the way of sunshine. Look at that daytime high, 6 degrees, nice and comfortable if you're planning to do some skating, maybe hit the slopes. Tuesday, back into some cloud cover, 5 for the high. I'm watching Wednesday of next week for some periods of rain, but with the temperature a bit closer to the freezing mark at 2 degrees, also think it's possible that we could see some mixing in there and perhaps a change over to some snow in the evening hours. Speaking of snow, we're going to watch Friday for a few flurries as the temperature slips back below freezing and back to seasonal. So enjoy the little mild stretch that we're getting treated to for the Family Day long weekend. That's the weather for now. Michelle, sending it back over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, the Toronto Blue Jays made a trade today, sending Joey Loperfido back to Houston. The outfielder says he leaves a better player than when he got here and is grateful to have played for the fans and this country. Coming to the Jays is outfielder Jesus Sanchez. The 28-year-old has played 6 major league seasons. He hit .237 with 14 home runs and 48 RBIs last year with Miami and Houston.
The Toronto Raptors also made a move today, putting Chris Paul on waivers. The 12-time All-Star guard later announced his retirement after 21 seasons. The likely Hall of Famer said this past summer he wants to devote himself more to his family and other interests. Paul was acquired from the Clippers this month in what was a financial deal for the Raptors to get below the luxury tax.
Our second final at W10. Welcome to the top 10.
Canada's Victoria Mboko has advanced to the final at the Qatar Open. The former Toronto resident defeated Latvia's Jelena Ostapenko in straight sets today. Mboko will square off against Karolina Muchova of the Czech Republic in tomorrow's final.
Still to come, taking part in the big sock drop. We'll have more on the effort to deliver new socks to people in need when we come back.
A popular classic video game has become a tool in the battle to overcome multiple sclerosis.
CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has the details.
Tetris has been enjoyed by gamers for decades, but now it's proving to be medically useful for patients with MS, like Mary Rivet, who was diagnosed in 1995.
It was a very struggle raising my little ones. I had a lot of home care, stuff like that. I went on ups and downs.
Then she broke her pelvis in a bad fall and was barely able to move.
I was wheelchair bound. I was able to walk. I was making small steps to my chair in the shower, to the washroom.
But 4 years ago, she entered a program at McMaster to test if using the body to play Tetris would be a better form of exercise for MS patients.
We attach sensors to the skin, the very same type of sensor that you might expect to be used during an ECG. test. They're detecting similar signals as well, except instead of those signals coming from the heart muscle, those signals are coming from skeletal muscles, types of muscles that we use to move around.
Participants did 18 half-hour sessions over 6 weeks.
It was 30 minutes, and I was sitting down at least 3 times during that 30 minutes. I had bars, I'm hanging on to bars, trying to hold my balance to play the games. By the end of the 6 weeks, Pauline, I wasn't hanging on, and I wasn't sitting down for the 30 minutes.
From a wheelchair, she now uses just a cane to get around, and the researchers are looking for a few more participants to complete the study.
We can't say anything about statistical results at this time, but folks who are going through the biofeedback training do talk about rediscovering confidence in their ability to stand for longer periods of time. Sometimes their walking endurance improves.
They hope to report on the final results by the end of the year. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Dozens of charitable organizations stopped by a warehouse in Concord picking up socks for distribution for those in need. The event is called the Big Sock Drop, and it's organized by a charity called the Just Socks Foundation. The family-run organization says new socks are one of the most needed items of clothing for charities, shelters, and clients, but they're one of the least donated as used socks are not accepted.
Socks wear out really fast. There's nowhere to wash them, and so they just throw them out or they just keep wearing them. And so these new socks are kind of a life-saving measure a little bit, and helps give them a little bit of comfort on freezing cold days like we have had in Toronto.
Just Socks says it donated more than 1 million pairs of socks to date, including 160,000 in 2025 alone.
Movie theaters are preparing for the first big weekend of the year with one major studio release expected to capture the most hearts.
Heathcliff is gone. You must accept it.
Just in time for Valentine's Day, Warner Brothers is out with a new take on Wuthering Heights starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. Deadline reports it's expected to bring in more than $40 million U.S. across North America. Over the long weekend, animated basketball movie GOAT is shooting for second with $20 million, while heist film Crime 101 is forecast to be next with $15 million in ticket sales. Some Like It Hot, the musical based on the classic film, is now on stage in Toronto.
CTV's Andrea Case recently got a chance to speak with the cast and to put on her dancing shoes.
You know what I'm tempted to do at the beginning? I'm tempted to do this. When paired with a couple of professionals, I was in need of some moral support.
A 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3.
Matt Layer and Tavis Cordell star in the touring production of Some Like It Hot. The duo stars jazz musicians Joe and Jerry in this 5-time Tony Award-winning musical. In an attempt to escape the mob, they pose disguised as Josephine and Daphne, 2 women on a train leaving town after witnessing a murder.
Why is this a good show for you?
This is a fabulous show because...
not good, it's fabulous.
I mean, come on, it's fabulous.
Mobile, Alabama native Laher is a veteran of 8 national tours, but this is his first time in Toronto.
This is like the dreamiest role I could ever get to play because it is everything that I love to do. I'm a song and dance man at heart. I love tap dancing, I love singing, and I love comedy. And I get to do all of that and in high heels. And then my character gets to undergo like a nice little transformation. He's not the most honest person on the planet and a bit of a schmuck for a while. But then he really, like, through his brother, Jerry Daphne, gets to kind of make a very good transformation into becoming a better person.
This is Cordell's debut role in a national tour. The former America's Got Talent contestant is not new to performing. He got his start in a church in North Carolina.
Liturgical or praise dancing. I did it in church at Nazareth Missionary Baptist Church in North Carolina. Yes.
And what was it?
It was just an expression of heart and love and spirit. I believe that I became connected with my spirituality and it began to feel and to be, it was the early stages of showing my heart and showing my passion for the arts through praise dancing.
And speaking of dancing, Lair says while rhythm is universal, tap dancing brings him joy.
As a more mature dancer, tap dancing you can do for as long as you want. It's definitely a dance art form that you can still produce sound, create rhythm and joy without having to, do big splits and jumps and all that.
Perhaps the dancing is best left to the professionals. Some Like It Hot is on stage now at the Ed Murphy's Theatre until March 15th. Woo! Andrea Case, CTV News.
After the break, bonus time. Toys R Us is given an extension on creditor protection as the retailer liquidates more stores and eventually looks for a new owner. Business is next. As fewer Canadians travel south of the border, the country's largest airline says efforts to pivot to other markets are paying off. Air Canada reported record revenue for its fourth quarter, pointing to surging demand for domestic and international routes. Company executives say the airline rejigged its capacity to focus on those destinations, and that's been able to fully mitigate the impact of reduced interest in U.S. travel. Air Canada also reported growth in corporate travel to Europe as Canadian businesses look for new trade partners. Chief Commercial Officer Mark Hillardo said reduced travel numbers to the U.S. aren't expected to improve or to drop any further. And this comes as Air Transat says it's canceling its final remaining U.S. flights for the summer season as it looks to better manage its resources. The airline says its flights from Quebec to Florida will start winding down in the spring. A spokesperson said it's still to be determined if the routes will be restored next winter. Figures from aviation firm Cirium say Canada-U.S. flight volumes were down more than 14% year over year in the fourth quarter.
Toys R Us Canada is getting an extension on its creditor protection. An Ontario Superior Court judge says she will approve an order granting the struggling retailer protection until May. The company had originally only filed for 10 days of protection at the start of the month. Toys R Us says it owes at least $120 million to its vendors, as well as what it described as substantial amounts to landlords. The business is currently restructuring as it faces several lawsuits and has warned its footprint of 22 stores could shrink.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
As transit riders get familiar with the newly opened Eglinton Crosstown, the province is marking a construction milestone for another major transit project. Metrolink shared this image from deep underground at King and Bathurst, where crews have now completed excavation for the future Ontario line station. That route will be subway running more than 15 kilometers from Exhibition to Don Mills in Eglinton. It's slated to open in 2031. As work continues along the line, officials also shared this bird's eye view of the operations, maintenance and storage facility taking shape, with those orange tarps protecting concrete from the elements.
Just ahead, drawing young players to the table. We pull up a chair and check out a new club introducing new people to an old school game.
Tonight, we're in Tumbler Ridge, BC, where a grieving parent shares his heartbreak.
It can give you like the best smile that you've never seen.
The father of Abel Mwanza opens up about love and loss after tragedy. Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
A new initiative is helping grow the game of dominoes in the city among young people.
A pair of entrepreneurs have started a free monthly club in an effort to spread their love of the game. CTV's Jessica Smith has the details.
Dominoes is a game rooted in strategy and passion.
When you're at the table, it's kind of like it's a level playing field in this sense where you don't necessarily have that like levels to, oh, I'm this person or I'm this person. It's like when you're at the table, you're here to play a game, and that's really it.
The Dominoes Club is a new free initiative by Marlon Pusey and Dak Turner designed to showcase the game of dominoes and its rich history.
There's not an exclusive list to go play dominoes. Like you can play it at a corner shop, you can play it outside of a restaurant, so on and so forth. We don't want to add a layer of exclusivity or any barriers for people to be able to come play.
With roots in Chinese culture, the game is popular across Caribbean and Latino communities as well, played across the world by diverse groups of people.
I think I've learned that it's bigger than the game of dominoes. Yes, the game of dominoes is fun, but we're actually creating a vibe. We're creating a community.
The game rules vary from region to region, but
Usually you can either play cutthroat, which is every person for themselves, or you can play in partners.
So there's 28 tiles, and we dish out 7 tiles to each person. There's 4 people playing. Whoever has the double 6 is the one that starts, and then we go clockwise, and the point is to get rid of all the tiles in your hand.
and when you're going in for the win,
when you have the last domino that matches whatever is on the table, slam it down and you win the game. You know, you got to win with force.
currently operating out of the Annex Hotel lobby, the Domino's Club will eventually travel to different spaces around the city to support local businesses and share the game with anyone interested in playing.
And if you don't know how to play the game, it's no problem. There are plenty of people at the Domino Club to teach you the keys to the game. Jessica Smith, CTV News. Hey!
I'm guessing she won. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I had no idea about that rule. I can't wait to tell my kids. They'll be slamming those dominoes down. That's so fun.
Hey, maybe some families will be playing dominoes this weekend. That's a great indoor activity, but maybe you want to get out as well. The weather's going to cooperate for that too. Let's take one more look at the satellite and radar. Depending on where you are in southern Ontario, you might be seeing a little bit of light snow. We still have a weather advisory in place, but it has come to an end for communities to the east of Georgian Bay, and that is warning of the blowing and falling snow along with the risk of freezing drizzle. Tomorrow, if you're hoping to do a little skating, here's a look at what you can expect during the day, and then one more look at your long weekend and 7-day forecast. Looking like this, pretty mild daytime highs, especially those first few days of next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Michelle and Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Yeah, that's it for us. Be sure to join Omar Sachedina, who's live in Tumbler Ridge tonight at 11 with CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with our next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great weekend.